Everyone, Don Pookie Kloss here. Just giving my thoughts on the news that broke tonight about the Chicago Bears. Allen Robinson requesting a trade because they can't get a deal done, which is bothering to me because you have a guy, he's your number one target. He's arguably a top 5 wide receiver. He's the guy that your rookie quarterback, your 4th year quarterback that you guys keep shoving down Bears fans' throats. This is the guy. This is the future. You went out, you trade, my fault. You trade draft capital for a $21 million quarterback. You bring him into camp. You give the job to Trubisky. Trubisky looks awful. Absolutely awful. For 3 quarters against the Detroit Lions. Then he has this God-saving comeback. Look what he does in the 4th quarter. Awesome fourth quarter. Amazing 4th quarter. But it's against the Detroit Lions, who over the last 2 years have proven that they cannot keep a lead. They have blown lead after lead and game after game under Matt Patricia. So, Mitch Trubisky, who only plays well against Detroit, he's 4-0 against these guys now, does what he does best. Doesn't play well, gets comfortable, the offense starts speeding up a little bit, and he makes an awful throw. Horrible read. Horrible pass. Allen Robinson saves him, makes an amazing catch. Saves him, and really starts that 4th quarter going. Him and Anthony Miller were making some spectacular catches, saving some not so good throws by Mitch Trubisky. But Allen Robinson is his number one target. Your number one wide receiver. You can't get a deal done with him. So now you're talking about, he stopped following the Bears social media. He's talking about he wants a trade. These are bad things. You have no one that can replace him right now. Anthony Miller is your number 2. Anthony Miller is not a number 1 in the NFL. But this offseason, you pay a defensive end a buttload of money for what? You have Khalil Mack. You have the premier defensive end. Oh, well, he needs help on the line. You had Hakeem Nicks coming back. What else did you need? He takes up a couple guys. You got a great front 7 with the Bears. You didn't need Robert Quinn. You're paying this man 5 years, $70 million, $30 million of that was guaranteed. Why? For what? Is he a good defensive end? Yeah, he's good. Last year he had a great season. 11.5 sacks. Played in 15 games. 14 games, 11.5 sacks with Dallas. But the 2 years before that, he played in 16 and 15 games. 6.5, 8.5 sacks respectively. You guarantee this guy $30 million. You're paying him $70 million over 5 years. Why not offer that contract to Allen Robinson? Go here, this is the money we have. And then work off of that. You can give him more money. The Bears are going to start hitting this cap area. That's going to be a very dangerous spot for the Chicago Bears. And if the Chicago Bears think that they'll find an Allen Robinson replacement, they have proven to not really be great at drafting offensive guys. Running backs, I will argue, yes. They've drafted good linemen, good running backs. Ryan Pace has done a very nice job of finding some very good offensive linemen and some very good running backs in late rounds and mid rounds, which is fine and dandy. Hasn't really found a great wide receiver in the draft. Has drafted tremendously well on defense. Safeties, linemen, linebackers. He has been really good at scouting and drafting defensive players, but not so much offense. You saw that. He missed on Mitch. He really did. Even if Mitch becomes an okay quarterback, you drafted him 2nd overall. The only way he's not a bust is if he is one of the greatest in the league, and he's not. Nobody can argue that he is one of the best in the league. He's one of the bottom of the league. Bottom 10 of the league consistently. And those first 3 quarters, man, not a whole lot was shown there. But his number one target is Allen Robinson. You're going to let this guy go. You can't trade him. I know he wants to be traded, but you have to have him for this year. If you think that Mitch Trubisky and the Chicago Bears this year could make a run at something, you better have Allen Robinson on this team. Now, you have some other targets offensively. Jimmy Graham and Mitch seem to have a nice repertoire together. You got Allen Robinson. Well, Allen Robinson's going to get traded. You have Miller, who Miller has looked really good at times, but he's not a number one. I'd like to see more of Cole Kmet, see what he can do. You have 2 pretty good running backs. David Robinson, I think, is going to be a much better running back, given some time and some effort behind him. Looked really good against Detroit at times. Had some nice runs, but he's still young. Let's see what he looks like going into the season. It's a weird season. No preseason. No time to really get going. But, man, you can't think that if you lose Allen Robinson and you keep Robert Quinn, that was a good offseason. Allen Robinson should have been your number one priority this offseason, and he wasn't. Or at least you couldn't get the job done, and there's a problem there. You cannot let this man go. What Allen Robinson and Mitch Trubisky have is what Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall had. Mitch Trubisky is very comfortable staring down, which is a big problem for Mitch Trubisky. He stares down Allen Robinson, but Allen Robinson saves him. He makes those crazy catches. He makes catches that shouldn't be caught. That's what makes a great wide receiver in the NFL. That's what made Odell Beckham, before Odell Beckham found out that he likes being pooped on and the Browns want him out of town because his attitude is the drizzling shit. But those guys are hard to find. Now, we've already seen the Texans mess everything up by trading DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona for an overpaid, overused, past his prime running back. Did David Johnson look really good Thursday night? Absolutely. He looked pretty good. But let's see what he looks like week 6, week 12, week 16, when he starts running and he starts getting beat up game in, game out, because that's what running backs do. They get beat up. They get hurt. They get injured year in, year out. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best wide receivers, and you let him go, and you were the Texans were a laughingstock through the NFL. A laughingstock. And the Bears are going to end up being that right now. You already get made fun of for the Mitchell Trubisky draft pick. Why would you want to be made fun of for trading Allen Robinson this year for nothing? On Twitter, I saw a couple guys say they better get a Khalil Mack style haul for this. A big haul. Well, if DeAndre Hopkins trade kind of set what you can get for a top-of-the-line wide receiver, we're not looking at a Khalil Mack haul. We're looking at maybe a late first-rounder, which wouldn't be bad. But are you getting Allen Robinson's replacement late first round? Highly doubtful. Very highly doubtful. Maybe you're getting a second and a third. That's nice drafts to have, but you're not finding an Allen Robinson second round, third round of a draft. You're just not. You're finding good wide receivers, but man, you're talking about a top 5 NFL wide receiver. And if Ryan Pace ruins this, if Ryan Pace lets that man go and trades him away or just lets him go in free agency, after everything this season, man, as much as I've backed this guy, and I think he's an awesome GM at times, his mistakes are starting to creep up. And with Mitch Trubisky, and now you traded for a $21 million backup quarterback, and you lose Allen Robinson, boy, I think it's about time he has to go. Which really sucks because I thought we had something going with him. But anyway, hopefully Allen Robinson isn't going anywhere. Hopefully the Chicago Bears stay strong. Hopefully they bear down and get a contract done. Doesn't look too likely now. But hopefully Allen Robinson, I feel like the professional that he is, even if we don't trade him, he'll play his heart out for the Bears. But man, if he's gone next year, it's going to be a rough year. That's my thoughts. Don Pookie Kloss. This is Pookie's Perspective, signing out.